But yeah, to your point, Ant. Yeah, that apart. Yeah, this is Star Wars. Yes, some issues, but I'm. It's like
Yeah,
I'm feeling. I mean, here's the thing: when you hardcore, you understand just the world and the feeling you have when you first watch the original films, and the sense of expansive universe like that, but still also different creatures, like different languages and all stuff like that. It brings that level of like authenticity back. I feel like we've been missing. You
yeah. It's like a sense of wonder. I like the designs of the ships, to the aliens, to the how that port look, even the droid. Nice little stop. I mean,
Urkel
I
was a
haven't had a
cool
feeling
touch.
that good since I've had KFC.
Yeah.
So, everybody, we have just watched the first episodes of Skeleton Crew with some of our teammates eating fine food. I am digging the vibe. I'll say the vibe right now is cool. It's fresh. Jesus. And I just love that, like, it's a different perspective that we're getting. That we're not in another war, another battle. It's just kids stuck in a little adventure now. And so, what the hell is going on? Um, but yeah, Sam, what did you think of the first episodes of Skeleton Crew?
First episode, I think it started off really interesting because I just I didn't have any anticipation of what it could be. I had my expectations too low. So for it to be like a raid, like a pirate raid of a starship was really dope. I didn't expect as many deaths and like plundering as what we got, but at the same time, it set a really interesting tone because once that happened, it was shifted to the kids. What I loved is this direct parallel where you got people plundering in outer space, like Star Wars s. But then when you get to these kids, like it feels like Earth. Like they are civilized. They've got like school buses, they've got classes, they've got parents, they've got teen angst, and I just have never seen that with Star Wars. And so it set a very interesting tone. It felt like the Goonies mixed with Super 8, mixed with a lot of other things that I think could be something really interesting. And I think I mean, at this point now, I'm along for the journey with these kids. I like the kids. I don't.
You also compared it to Space Cases, right?
I did. If you've seen Space Cases, if you're in my generation in the 80s/90s, Space Cases was basically some cadets and they get on a ship and they literally get lost in space. And so that takes a very interesting route to that because they all have certain small little techniques and quirks about themselves, but their personalities kind of thrive. So yeah, it actually is a very interesting parallel to Space Cases.
Yeah. Busy, what do you think about it?
I mean, I mentioned this in the little recap that we had in the after when we were just talking after the first episode, but one thing about the last couple of projects is even though they've tried to have more adult tones, I felt as though they still really were lighthearted. And when you do that with a group of, cast full of kids, it kind of fits the tone a little better. And I feel like it just came out a little more naturally than, as if like for a show like The Acolyte when you expect something a little more dark. You know what I'm saying? And it felt right watching this, if that makes any sense. Like I really liked the adventures and some of the dialogue. It made sense coming from a child. So it just like, I don't know, things just made more sense. And I don't know, it felt good. It was cool. I enjoyed it. And Neil's the MVP.
I
Hold
agree with
on.
that.
Hold on. I want y'all to see this real quick so that way y'all know. Okay, this is our Skeleton Crew. Space Cases.
Okay.
Skeleton Crew. Space Cases.
Got the Power Ranger up in here?
Yeah. Wait, go back to the other picture. Go up to the other picture. Is there another crew member they're going to get?
Hold on.
Spoilers.
I don't see anybody else.
Is that a space owl?
Didn't we already see that creature? We're looking
That's an owl in a robe.
I'm in. I don't know what that is, but I'm in.
Who?
Nice.
This is also the symbol of the ship too.
Yeah. Or the droid's face. Droid's face.
Yeah, because one eye's out. Yeah, one eye's poking out.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty dope.
So yeah, this is classic Star Wars. This is what you read from the novels and things like that. And it did a really good job of capturing that. And also getting this young Indiana Jones kind of feel too. where it might be made for quote unquote kids, but they're people are dying. There's wars going on. I think people forget that like Star Wars was a kids show that had mass murders and war things, would have been Clone Wars and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
But it got away with it because it's Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you try to kiddify Star Wars too much or make it too dark all the time, you lose. There's a happy medium in there where it's like kids are like, yeah, the adventure. Adults are like, dang, did you just burn that guy's arm or mess up his tattoo? Or yeah, there's a balance to it, and it's for everybody. And I think people use a line where George Lucas says, "I made this for kids" as a escape. Like it doesn't have to be good. We know Avatar: The Last Airbender is made for kids, but it's one of the best television shows ever. Star Wars appealed to everybody because you have a sense of adventure, wonder, and you kind of want to be on this adventure with them. If you chibi-eyes ourselves and we all were in the woods and we found a ship, I would. This is an adventure I think we'd all like to be on. So yeah. I'm for it so far. I hope episode 3 doesn't let me down, but I'm for it so far.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, I felt like, again, as I mentioned before, like there was a sense of innocence I felt with this show. Again, not only the fact that you have a child fill cast and everything, but again, there's a sense of like when they were just going off making choices, also like stupid choices, whatever. Like this is what kids would do. It's probably what I did when I was a kid. But it kind of reminded me of my first like interaction or my love for Star Wars when I was little. Again, sense of what would I do if I was in this world? Like I'll be pushing buttons I probably shouldn't be, if I'm on a ship or something like that, right? But also the sense of we're being pulled with these adventures with some friends of ours. Yet we have a droid that's like, a helper and everything. We get put in these situations and stuff like that. Yeah, and then we're just going for the thrill, going for the ride. But then at the end of the day, like these kids are also mature along through that journey until they become the fullest version of themselves, and again, we mentioned a lot of references here. Hook, also Treasure Planet. There's again things that just keep reminding me, even also on Disney's part, that gave me a sense of wonder when I was a kid. So I also not just on Star Wars here, but again, I think they're highlighting those themes, especially with their set designs, with the different creatures and the environments that they're in. But again, the root of it really just the chemistry of these kids. Again, a part of that's just with good casting. Because like we know certain directors that can't direct children very well. Sam Raimi. But anyway, what I'm saying is that as like with this, especially with the directors we have coming for the rest of this season, I'm very excited to see what type of range they're going to be able to pull out of this cast. And I definitely see they have good potential here. So, but yeah, I give a thumbs up for this.
I hope they really.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Try that again, bud.
Right again,
Oh yeah, that ain't gonna work out.
No, whoa, he is glitching the bad as the robot.
But again, okay, so the thing is, like I said, the tone is very different. I know it is set in like the same area of as the Mandalorian and all that
era. Yeah.
Obviously my head's not trying to point at that direction at all. The one thing that I am liking is I like the weirdness of some of the characters. I expect to see some crazy creatures, but as we saw like Ronan getting all excited because we had like a werewolf, gunslinging, and then we got friggin' Urkel looking like a cyborg over here. Like it doesn't make sense. And just making a good point with Star Trek Prodigy, it has like a very similar vibe to that. We have such an established universe, which there's so many different vibes within this universe, but we are focusing on a group of like the youth, if you will. So it kind of takes things kind of back. It's a little more laid back, but it's still really fun. So I can see the Star Trek Prodigy vibes being in there. But for me, one thing that really stood out was the music. Like I think Mike said the same thing, but like even just the opening, like at first we're like, is that Christmas music? But then we're like, nah, it's just like the usage of what was it, like bells or something? I don't know, but it was cool to
a melody or something like that.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was wholesome.
And I like I like that we got to experience the little valley and then the school, and then right after episode 1, we just booked it. We're on the adventure now. We didn't linger too much there, and it's just like, all right, now where we're at. And it's a cool highlight to see that where this show takes place and how the school is even pushing these kids. Who wants to be an analyst? Who wants to be an accountant? And it's just like you're setting up these kids just to build up your government, and yet nobody's asking these kids what they really want to do in their lives.
They're like 10, bro. It's like relax.
Exactly. And it's
there's a mystery that I care about.
And I love that again, that punk rock spirit of the kids are just like, I just want to go. I don't care about the ACT now. I'm 10. I'm like, and yeah, I think that with it being so, with again the piratey music, and I just love that we're again, like I think even Busy handed out, like we know this universe, the perspective, the point of view, it's different than what we're used to. And that's something that I'm appreciating this much with this, like even this concept art. I'm like, okay, I haven't experienced this lens of the world. Let's go with it. And for a 1-2 punch of a starter, I'm like, you know what? I'm with this. Neo, I think is Neo and SM33 are the highlights of this group, and I just hope that they hopefully they make their way back home. And it's interesting that people keep harping on like, wait, what? Where you're from? At Aden. And from what I've been hearing is that at one point their homeworld was considered the crown of the old republic, the crown jewel of the old republic. So maybe there's more to their homeworld than meets the eye, if you will. But yeah, I'm liking this show thus far.
Yeah, I mean, J.J. Abrams probably gonna sue over it, but it's all good. It's not really
and then Spielberg gonna sue him. Like, how far is it gonna go back?
But nah, I think this is actually pretty dope, man. I really have very low expectations. I was like, why does this show exist? But I think it's not just the fact of the innocence. It's like an actual adventure that's engaging enough that you care about these kids, you care about their progression, even through their faults. Like one of the scenes, one of the main characters, like he is on a little bike, and he's trying to get to school, and like me and Anna were like, yeah, he's not gonna be able to get out of that hole. And sure enough, he just couldn't do it. Like he's a kid. Like he's an actual kid, and then it's kind of like, what are the ramifications you getting caught? And I love how realistic it is. It's just weird and jarring at first to get used to, but once you get used to it, I think it takes you for a very interesting journey. At this point now, I'm interested to see where it's going to go. I mean, it's got a B rating for me at this point. I'm with to see where it's going to go. That's the best I can give it.
I think that there's so many storylines you can go with. Like I'm curious about what the planet history, did it hide itself from the Empire, or maybe even before that, to get away from us? Maybe it was untouched by all the Civil War stuff. That ship might have went there to rob them. We don't know. Like, I'm interested in. We've explored bounty hunters, explored Jedi and Sith. Like, we don't really know much about the pirate culture outside of Hondo. So that's an interesting thing to go to. There's real stakes. There's real stakes that they are just kids, right? Now we have some a very assertive one, somebody that's really good in tech. We have Neil, who's just the heart, but excuse me, there's a real good danger because they are kids. They're not kung fu master prodigy Jedi. They're not, we have to be more creative how to figure out. Yeah. And we have more creative figuring out how to get out of these situations. So yeah, I give it a B plus. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed every aspect of this. I'm really happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really am. Like, it brings like joy that we can be happy, especially during this time of Christmas, when this show's coming out. Again, people want to find something to hate about the show. Even the haters, like, they know what this show's going to be. At least they know the target audience is clear, but yet when the target audience is clear, the execution can still go subpar. But with this, at least with these 2 episodes, I can say that I was definitely satisfied with what I watched, and gives me at least hope of them taking this risk with this show, but actually seeing having this show flourish into something interesting that we really weren't asking for, but probably need in Star Wars right now. But yeah,
Real quick question for Ant and Mike. Did you guys think that this was gonna flop before you came into it? The reason why I asked that question is because I feel like the general population, what they've seen of this, I don't think that they're as excited. And I think that unless you actually see this, you're not going to buy into it. So I was curious, did you guys think that this was going to flop before having watched it, or what were you guys going into it?
So well, you want to go first?
go ahead.
Yeah. So I think that Star Wars has lost a lot of social capital. I think that you didn't have a lot of people my age that were still excited about the new product to pass it on to kids. So I don't think anything about these trailers. I don't think there's no faith in the product. You know what I mean? There's no faith that this is going to be a quality thing because of some of the misses they've had. Whether you like the misses or not, I'm not here to argue the quality of it. I'm just saying that we have to be realistic that there were misses. I did not think this was going to be that good. I think I said something that I think they're throwing, just throwing anything out there to see if it sticks. This actually seems like someone who, I don't know who produced it. I don't know anybody behind the scenes, so maybe y'all can fight me on that. They seem to get Star Wars in a way. So I'm like, where were these people at? But also, Andor's really good, and people weren't really watching Andor. So I think that this is one of those things where unless the word of mouth is insanely good, it might flop.
Mike?
Yeah, I wasn't I wasn't really saying excited for this show when it was announced. I just saw one still of Jude Law and that was it. And and then they got more excited. So, this is probably a bunch of kids and stuff. And I was like, all right, the premise doesn't look exciting to me. But then the trailer, especially like the more recent trailer was, it just got a sense of fun and wonder too. When I starting the sets, the designs, and actually seeing the kids interact and their chemistry, I was just like, I would just kind of sense like, this is giving like a, I would just get entertained. Now, was I expect to be a big hit for the general Star Wars community? No, but I think this is going to be a situation of quality. Whether the numbers probably won't be that, but for Christmas, again, good release. You don't really have that much competition going in, in terms of streaming on Disney Plus right now and stuff to any other show right now. In terms of my opinion, when I'm looking at the schedule. So I think, again, this is a target audience going to holiday season. So I think it fit right where it belongs, where it can profit. Just like Agatha, had his window in Halloween. So I think they're playing smart with this though. But I didn't say I expected to bomb. I just was expecting to have a huge turnout. But I think also people are being hesitant of like trashing this show because definitely is involving children. So I think there's also another thing. I mean, the sense of that too, where it's like, okay, well, if it's something for kids, well, I'm trashing something for kids,
They'll still trash it anyway.
Of course they will, but I have.
And just to highlight the creatives is that this show was co-created by John Watts, who did the most recent Spider-Man trilogy, and the director of episode 2 is David Lowery, who directed The Green Knight, and if I'm not mistaken, Pete's Dragon.
Yeah.
So
that's insanely good talent you got there.
I enjoyed Pete's Dragon.
The resume is good.
Yeah. So maybe they've learned some lessons and going forward. But hey, kids shows can get it too, so don't mess up.
What are your closing thoughts, Ronan and Busy and Raiden?
I really enjoyed it. I was kind of caught off guard. At this point, I'm just going into most of these series just trying to have zero expectations and just seeing where it goes. And I'm glad I did that with this show because it's at the point where I'm just like, okay, like let's see what they're gonna do, And unless it's like a big project that's coming out, I'll definitely watch it. I'm just not as excited. But with the first 2 episodes, I'm really looking forward to seeing, where it goes from this point. So I'm impressed and hope it continues.
What was your rating?
I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay,
nice.
Ronan, closing thoughts and rating?
Closing thoughts is that thus far I'm with the show. There's a little crew with the robot. I hope they make it okay. Hopefully they're not nobody gets severely injured, and the vibe is good. The vibe is good. Vibe is good, and it's a fresh tone, especially in this time period that they're at. So, and I'll go with as well with the B rating. I'm like, keep it going, keep it going, and hopefully it gets better and better and better.
Yes, sir. You guys heard it unanimously. Mike, where can everybody find your content, man?
I say these are my final thoughts.
Oh, you already did the final thought.
Yeah.
Where can everybody find your content?
Oh, sorry, my bad.
No,
yeah,
you're
you
good.
can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and on the TikTok. Yes, at Jedi Mike 7. Got more videos posted and everything. And also I have on Blue Sky on there. To find me there at Jedi Mike 7, or excuse me, at the real Jedi Mike 7. Someone an imposter took that name, so now I had to make sure you get the real one right here.
That's actually funny.
Nice.
And where can everybody find you?
It was Kona Wiggy Da. I took your name, and if you want it back, it'll be 1 credit.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so
I'm gonna make mine Aunt Silver. How about that?
You can find me right here at JVS or on anybody else's channel they invite me. I've done some good talks on 3 Black Geeks, and been on with Ronan and Busy. So anything sci-fi related, or when they invite me, when they don't forget me, I'll come on. So that was it. I really suck at this.
Yo,
part.
and karate related, bro. Don't be.
And karate related. And karate. If you want to see some kids with alcohol issues beat each other up with no legal repercussions.
I got questions, but I'm gonna leave it alone. Thanks, man. Busy. Where can everybody find you?
Busy Braun everywhere, and doing reviews over here.
All right. Last but not least, Ronan and Chain. Where can everybody find you, man?
You can find me at Ronan on Jane on YouTube, on all the socials. I want to hit 1,000 subs before Christmas, and you best believe I'm going to be doing coverage for this show throughout the holidays.
Yes, sir. You guys heard it here first. This is our review. All right, we'll talk to y'all soon. We'll be back for another episode review, episode 3. Peace, people.
Peace.